fresh air. A little more natural light. Alright, so this is going to be our new Dodger for our sailboat. This will be our Dodger. I guess it's not new, because I would prefer we have one. So it is a rainy Tuesday, and we're going to work on making a Dodger. I don't even know if you can see the line, but kind of does that shape. It's not very big, mostly just to kind of protect us from the elements. I guess I can show you the cardboard mock-up that's sitting there. So yeah, it's gonna be cut out of this foam, and then we're gonna put a couple layer fiberglass on each side, and then we'll build walls out of foam as well. Should I probably be using like high strength boat building foam? Probably, but I've used this for surfboards, and it's not a structurally integral part of the boat because it's just going to be bolted on, so it could be removed if need be. So this is 3/4 inch thick foam, so it's 25 pounds per square inch density, or compressive strength, I guess. It should have enough strength once we put fiberglass on it. Most of the strength is coming from the fiberglass. The goal is to have this strong enough that I can stand on it. Yeah. So right now, I'm just trying to even out the edges. I don't know if you can even see what I'm doing, but just trying to even so it's a nice smooth curve. So it looks nice. Yeah, so the back of this edge right here is gonna have like a little grab rail. So I'm thinking 1 inch. Like that. That should give it a nice like ground. Feels solid.
And after that, we glassed and glassed and glassed and glassed and glassed.
So last night, I brought this piece to the boat, and we set it up on top, and then we patterned using this material, which is a Durascrim. It's from Sailrite. It's a patterning material. And so we taped it onto the right here. I drew a line 3 inches in, and so we taped it on this line, and then we taped it to the spot on the deck that we wanted it to be. And so you can see it's got like a 2 arcs to it, so it's not flat. So this is what we're going to build the sidewalls out of. It should, when it curves, create the shape that we're looking for. I also have some extra measurements on here to essentially say what the distance between certain points is, and then I mark the center. So I'm going to trace out half of it and cut it out, and then I'll flip the pattern around or flip it, and yeah. Then I'll trace out the other half. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work yet. And I think I'm going to have to do like a staggered puzzle piece center seam. And then the plan is to score the outer face of the foam, probably about halfway through, and that will create a bending zone so I can bend it to match the shape. So this is kind of the shape we ended with for the sidewalls. So we cut, and then you can kind of see these are all score lines, and that allows it to bend. So now I'm just kind of making sure the curve is correct as we go around, and then to hold its shape, I have, it's gonna be hard to see, but I have all these boards that are going across and are screwed to hold it, and then I've got a board across in the center to hold the two sections of foam together. You have the Dodger top upside down, and then the sides. And so we still have the frame, some of the framework. I pulled, I think, 3 of the boards out, and is just keeping the ends like together. There is a lot more structure now that it has glass on the outside, and then I have a weight just to help hold it in place. And then when it got glassed and it was sitting there, it like twisted a little bit. So I actually have a string, it's gonna be hard to see, that runs here, pulling that frame in, so it's the curve is more even. It doesn't quite match the line I had, or the shape, but based on the boards I had, on measurements I had from the physical boat, I think when I lofted but when I like ran a nice curve for the Dodger top, it didn't actually match the like combing around the companionway, so I think there's a little bit of a discrepancy. So I think this shape is closer to what it is on the companionway. So we're gonna just tab in the inside and outside with some glass, and then this will all be one solid unit, and we can take it to the boat and see how we like it.
And more fiberglassing and more fiberglassing and more fiberglassing. I basically became a fiberglassing widow. I just didn't see Phillip very much. Every day after work, he was at his parents' fiberglassing. You want me to lay that other glass piece over there for you, or no?
You can if you want to.
You want it matte up or fabric up, or?
The glass mat up.
This way I feel more helpful. Oh, I should have grabbed myself a can of pop. Thank you. It's Corona.
Just Coca-Cola. Well, that feels nice.
Yeah?
Go ahead.
That's it, alright. I'd keep it open for you if I thought it would really do any good, but I don't think it will. Once I pick up this can of Coke, I can't set it back down. It's all Take off the glove, just broke, and then I can't tap. But you know what it is,
Coming out of your salary?
It's coming out of my set. Do I have a salary?
Nope.
I don't think I do. I think this is a volunteer position on both of our ends.
It's more like Choose Your Own Adventure, one of those books.
Choose your own adventure.
Sorry you picked a crappy one, but...
I took the wrong side quest, the wrong time, and now I'm stuck in this alternate reality. Something about not being able to touch your face, and then it itches the whole time. It's so annoying. Just doing a great butt shot right now.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm in front of the camera.
I think you can probably still see your butt.
I don't think I can.
We'll have to look later.
Now it's a great butt shot. We're just gonna have to guess.
Are you just laying it right in there?
Alright, you want to put that hard line?
One, two. Do you need me to put more in the other one yet? Or are you not sure? Huh?
I won't know.
Okay, no problem. Do you want me to hold on to that container, or are you just gonna let it drip for a while?
Looks good. You can put it over there if you want. I don't care.
Put it over there. That spot just does not want to stay down, does it?
Yeah, there's a couple of spots where I touched it with gloves one of the times.
There are just a couple little bits of.
Slightly
Right
harder
around
in
there.
those spots, so.
What are you thinking? You want me to make up a small batch?
Yeah, do
4?
3.
You just don't like my numbers. Layers and layers and layers of fiberglass completed. We were now ready for layers and layers and layers of fairing compound. So basically you mix it up, smear it on smooth-ish, wait for it to cure, give it a sand, and then just keep repeating the process until either you like the way it looks or you just can't stomach doing it anymore. So we kind of had to walk a fine line in between the two because we were on a time crunch with this one. We had to have this completed before we took our trip up north. Because we did not want to be stuck out in the rain in case we got any weather.
I did a time lapse. I don't know if you saw, but or how well it turned out, even if you can see anything. So I have a first coat of fairing on the outside, and then I crawled inside here, and I got a coat of fairing on this, which that was probably way too fast for you to see anything. I had a coat of fairing on this, on the inside. And then a rough coat on the little knees. And then I ran out, so I didn't get this section, but I got the rest of the back edge. I haven't gotten any of the radiuses yet. And then the top, which is this, instead of trying to fair it all out as it's fairly smooth. Already I'm going to do stuff with in the surfboard industry they call a hot coat. So it's like a fill coat is I guess really what it is to fill in the weave. And then epoxy tends to have like a self-leveling to some extent feature, and so it uses that to create the skin surface tension. So essentially you're just brushing on a very thin layer of epoxy to fill all of the weave, cover the glass. That way when you sand, you're not sanding the glass fibers and thus weakening the structure. So that's what I'm gonna do quick tonight, and then I am off back to the boat to go to bed. The first couple passes, you're pushing pretty hard to spread the epoxy out and try to make it even. And then the next couple are really just like the weight of the brush moving back and forth. And this just kind of evens out all the other bumps and ripples and make sure the epoxy has a nice like even flow to start. Normally you end up with a fairly glossy finish, and the weave is completely covered, and it gives you a good starting coat to sand from. I can't reach any further. And since this is getting covered with non-skid, I'm not wildly concerned about that's like 100% perfectly smooth and flat. So it seemed like a good compromise, and it might save me a lot of time fairing. And normally with this method you gotta go around the edge, just make sure you get under the drips that are forming. I guess I didn't show you, I did put a layer of tape down so that when you peel it you get a nice clean line. And I think this is the method I'm going to use for the underside as well. I might put fairing compound on top of that later on, but I think it'll give me a good start. Well, I don't know if you can see, but it's a nice sheen to it. The weave is mostly filled. And I'll even fill in, like, there's a seam right here that's sanded, and I'll fill most of it. It won't be perfect, but it'll cover most of the imperfections. Enough that a light sand should take care of it. So yesterday I got a second coat of epoxy on the top, and so you can kind of see in the reflection that it's a lot smoother than it was. You can see my footprints as I was standing on it earlier. And I ran out of fairing compound for the outside, but I did get another coat on the back edge and the inside. So I'm hoping almost done fairing on the inside. Then I'll just have to do all the edges and the outside at least one more time. It's taken a lot of work, but I think it looks nice overall, and I think it should fit on the boat well. A little small compared to a lot of people's Dodgers, but we're working with what we've got. So. compound. It was supposed to get delivered yesterday. It didn't. So while that's waiting, I'm gonna template out the panels, the glass panels that I'm gonna put on here. The plan is to have two panels. So from the center line, it'll go all the way to the far side on both. So there'll be a gap in the middle, but it'll be about 1 inch overlap on all the sides. Just because this is a little bit narrow to put two overlaps, essentially it's gonna be one panel anyways, and that should give it a little more strength. I am planning on using essentially a 1/4 inch acrylic sheet, and we're gonna be able to kind of heat bend it to the shape I need. We'll see how that goes. Never done it. But right now I'm just gonna trace out, I've got a piece of acrylic from a different project that's really thin. So I'm gonna trace out the window openings onto this, and then I should be able to give a nice like 1 inch boundary around it, and then I should be able to use this as a template on the actual product, and that should help with this next step. And it's got an adhesive film, so I might peel it off once I trace it out. So, my real question is, I'm gonna take this off and try to put it on the other side. How measured are my two halves? Do I need one template or two? So I'm gonna flip this around. More different than I thought they'd be. Oh, you can see they are ever so slightly different. Not by much though. It's just this back edge and this bottom edge are a little bit off. So I'll probably just kind of round this out, make it look nice, and make this one slightly oversized, and so they're both the same, one template.